Greetings, peeps of the interwebs and comics Amino, or Aminoers, Aminoites, I don't know the proper term. I'm your host, irishmanjake, one of your curators, and with me today is Frank Castle.
Oh, hi.
How
My
you
name
doing,
is
buddy?
Frank Castle. I'm one of your curators, just like Jake. I love hip hop and comics and movies and other things that you all love too.
So basically, the whole point of this interview, and I'll also be interviewing some of the other curators as well, is just that way you lovely people of comics Amino can kind of get to know us curators a little bit more, and hopefully we can be better friends and make this community grow and prosper through some of the YouTube videos we plan on doing. So starting off, so I guess what first got you into comics?
What first got me into comics was really my dad. Back when I was around 4, what he used to teach me how to read was comics. What we started getting was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So we started around issue 22, and recently we just went back and bought the first 21 issues.
Oh wow!
I just got issue 1 signed by Bagley and then graded.
Wow.
You know, grading is right when you send the comic in to some place like CBCS and
Mm-hmm.
they put on a plaque. They grade it for the quality of the actual book.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something new
So-
today.
That was my first graded book, and I just got that done actually around Christmas.
It's a nice Christmas
Yeah.
present.
So yeah, and he was using that. We read that before, and then he used it to teach me how to read, and then we started reading the other Ultimate books, like Ultimate Fantastic Four and Ultimate X-Men.
So, is it now like one of those things where anytime you go to the comic book store and you like pick up like some of the new like Marvel or DC stuff or indie stuff, and you're kind of like, Dad, you
Okay.
gotta read this comic, man. It's really good.
Yeah, I do tell him stuff like that. Like when I got the Daredevil run,
Mm-hmm.
when I finished reading that, there was a lot of gang related stuff, and
Yeah.
we were both watching The Wire at the time, and I
Mhm.
was like, Dad, you need to read this. This is like The Wire and Daredevil combined. You'd love it. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Because he kind of stopped with the comics once I hit around the age of like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I still go every month and collect single issue floppies,
Mhm.
and then with the extra money I have, I use it on in-stock trades
Cool.
for trades and stuff like that. Like I'm planning on getting Garth Ennis' Punisher run.
Oh my god,
No.
it's so good.
Yeah, I gotta read it.
Like for those of you listening, if you're a Punisher fan, whether it be casual, hardcore, you gotta read Garth Ennis' run on Punisher. In my opinion, it is like the definitive run. Just out of
I mean,
transition. What?
Oh yeah, I mean I kind of started it with Welcome Back Frank, but that was when he started Punisher, and I'm trying to get Punisher Max.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Punisher Max is a must. Which that'll transition into the next question is who are some of your favorite comic book characters? Which, seeing as how your curator name is Frank Castle, I'm gonna safely assume that Punisher is one of your favorites.
Yes, and then we got Daredevil, Superman, Batman. You know the usuals.
Mhm.
I really like John Constantine. I've been trying to get into him a little bit more.
Yeah. The Jamie Delano run from the '80s is definitely like that's where it's at for Hellblazer.
Mm. Oh yeah, that's the first one, the first run with Vertigo, right?
Yes. So I read some of the New 52 Hellblazer, and I liked it, but I feel like in a way it was kind of a mistake for DC to like bring Constantine, Swamp Thing, and some of the Vertigo characters into the main DC continuity. Just because I feel like they can't go all out with kind of how the characters are. I still like them in the current continuity, like with Justice League Dark and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like those characters kind of lend themselves more to that more mature setting in Vertigo.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. I guess the only thing good coming out of the New 52, them being in, was Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
I need to read that too. Been trying to get that. But yeah, I love Spider-Man, Miles Morales especially.
Mm-hmm.
That's just pretty much the usuals. I don't got any crazy characters I'm into.
Do you have any particular storylines from some of those characters that like really pop out to you where you're like, oh man, that's like one of the
For
best?
Daredevil, again, as I said, that Bendis run,
Mm-hmm.
that is the shit. That's one of the best runs I've ever read. And I wasn't even planning on getting that. It's just on Instock Trades.
Mm-hmm.
The first one went out of print.
Hmm.
So they ran out of copies. So I was like, damn, if I want to get this one ever, I got to get it now.
Yeah.
Well, it stays cheap on Amazon. So I got it, and I was like, oh my god, it's great. Another one I really liked was the Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
Does that take place when Doc Ock is using Peter's body?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not about him. It's about the not the Furious Five, the Sinister Six, but there's only 5 members.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the terrible Sinister Six. It's like the old Boomerang and Overdrive and those guys.
I guess, having a cool name like Sinister Six, only having 5 members, you don't want to change the name.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I wouldn't want to change the name. It's like, I know there's only 5, but we're still sticking with Sinister Six. We've got a trademark, we've got a copyright and all that stuff. It's a whole legal ordeal. But fear us anyways. We're coming for you, Spider-Man.
And the entire time they're trying to plan this heist, and it just keeps going bad. And it's one of the funniest books I ever read. That's one of the best Nick Spencer books. So if you're like, oh my god, I hate Nick Spencer, he's one of the worst writers I've ever seen, how could he do this to Captain America? Go read Superior Foes of Spider-Man. It'll show you how great of a writer he is.
I hadn't heard of him until he did the Ant-Man run, and that he started that before the movie came out. And I remember I had like no real interest in that comic at all until some of my friends were kind of like, dude, you need to read the new Ant-Man series. And I was like, really? I mean, like, not that I have anything against Ant-Man, but I was just kind of like, how good is the and again, at the time, the first issue was the only one out, but it was like there's like more than like your typical pages in an issue. I forget how many, like, it wasn't, I don't think it was quite like a double issue, but anyways.
It was like the $5 ones?
Yeah, I think it was like more around like $5-6. And, because again, they're trying to help promote the movie, because that was coming out in a few months. And so I was just kind of like, really? Like, is it that good? And they're like, I didn't plan on picking it up, but I kind of picked up on a whim, and I don't regret it. So I'm like, all right. So one day I was at the comic book shop. There wasn't a whole lot there that, I was reading. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see Nick Spencer's Ant-Man. I'll give it a go. Just kind of picked up on a whim. And then when I read it, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. I hope the movie is, like, on this level of kind of, great comedic timing, funny jokes. So that was actually the first Nick Spencer, the first comic I've read of his work, and I really liked it. So I need to start reading more of his comics.
And that Ant-Man run, he uses some of the characters from the Superior Foes of Spider-Man run, and it's the same type of comedy too. So if you're into that run, then also go back and read Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I got Doom into that before he left, and he loved the hell out of it.
Yeah, I have to check that out then. And also I just like the idea of, it almost seems like one of those sitcoms where they're always, like, the friends are always trying to figure out like a way to get rich or something like that, and things keep going wrong, but they're like, it wasn't our plan, that wasn't the problem, it was something else. So I don't know, I kind of like that idea.
It's a lot like that. It's fun to see somebody else have the old Peter Parker look. Yeah, Boomerang has it in that run. It's a fantastic run. And another run, 2 more runs that I really like, I'm going to put DC runs, were Gotham Central and Animal Man by Grant Morrison.
So I've heard Animal Man is really good. Because I don't really know a whole lot about him. And I actually heard his New 52 run was pretty good too. So there's, again, there's still tons of comics that I need to read or want to read, but sadly I'm not made of money, so I always have to kind of decide what to hold back
Which
on,
ones
or
to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can all relate to that. That's always one of the hardest decisions when you go to the comic book shop and you're always kind of like, I want it all. but then you look at your wallet and you're like, I can't afford it all. I can only afford like 3 issues. Then you're probably like waiting in the store for like an hour. You're like, which one do I pick? That's it's the plight of a comic book fan. What about? I think, are there any other DC runs outside of Gotham Central that you really like or want to spotlight for the listeners?
For a second, DC runs. Let me think. Oh yeah, Batman by Scott Snyder. But who didn't love that run?
Yeah, like
that was an amazing run.
I'm not even the biggest Batman fan, but the New 52, like Scott Snyder run, I was just like, this is Batman.
Yeah, and now with the All-Star Batman, he's doing it again for me. Once I hit like issue 4, I started really getting into it.
Cool.
And the storyline that's going on right now with Mr. Freeze has been really good, and Poison Ivy and stuff.
So,
those are about it.
Do you read any like independent comics, like Image, Vertigo, or anything like that?
Kind of. What I did read Animal Man. That was part of Vertigo, and now I'm reading Scalped.
That's the Jason Aaron series. See, I love Jason Aaron. I've been meaning to check out Scalp and some of his other work that he's done on like Image and some of the other independent comic labels. Because the dude, as far as I'm concerned, can do no wrong. So I'm gonna have to
really can't. His Doctor Strange run going on right now. His Star Wars going on right now. I hear everybody's loving his Thor run.
See, I haven't read his current Thor run, but I started reading The Mighty Thor, which started with the first Marvel Now a few years back, and the artwork is great. His storytelling is amazing. It's actually one of my all-time favorite moments in comics came from Volume 2 of the Marvel Now run, which was amazing. So again, for you all listening, definitely check out some of the comics we're recommending. They're amazing. And if you have, check out these comics, let me know what you think.
Please do leave a comment on either of our pages when you get back to Comics Amino, because I love when people give me their feedback upon books that I recommend in my reviews and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's my favorite part.
So I guess what are some other things you're into outside of comics?
Hip hop. I love hip hop so much.
So educate me, because I know nothing of hip hop and all that stuff. What are some good hip hoppers or hip hop artists?
Hip hop artists, rappers, anything you want to call them, really. MCs. Well, not all of them are MCs. Some of them are producers. All right, an MC is the rapper. The producer is the person who makes the beats or the music behind them.
Okay. I did not know.
So, some good MCs: MF Doom, Kendrick, as you all know, Slug from Atmosphere, and then some good producers would be people like Madlib, which Madlib produces very good beats for Doom. You have Jay Dilla, you have Ant from Slug. So Slug and Ant make up Atmosphere, and they're one of the best groups I've ever heard. They're very dark. They talk about things like alcoholism and things of that nature. It's very sad and dark, but it's good. Some good stuff.
I have not heard of any of those people, but it's the whole point of this. I'm learning.
Yeah, then you have more people that rap about more fun stuff. You have Chance the Rapper. You have people who talk political stuff, like Kendrick and Odyssey. Sorry.
That's fine.
Then you got people who are still doing gangster rap today, like Schoolboy Q is still doing gangster rap. Then you got some lyrical ass people. Some people who are gonna spit some bars that can go over your head, or you're gonna hear them and be like, "Damn, how can you say something like this? This is insane." They are modern day poets. So that would be MF Doom. That's LP. That's Killer Mike. Yeah, people like those guys are gonna spit bars at you that are gonna make you freak out.
All right. Looks like some more homework to do.
Those are some of my favorite rappers, as you can tell. And then you have old '90s rap. So things like A Tribe Called Quest. I love A Tribe Called Quest. They're amazing. You have, you have KRS-One with Return of the Boom Bap. That's one of my favorite albums.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the '90s, you also had East Coast versus West Coast. I was always more into the East Coast, so that's like Wu-Tang Clan, that's Nas, that's Biggie, that's
I am actually aware of this
Deep.
feud. That's one of the that's one of the few things I'm aware of, like within the rap hip hop communities. I know there was a big division between the West Side and East Side.
Yes.
Because just to I guess let you listeners know, I don't really like. I pretty much just listen to like rock and heavy metal. That's my jam. So like anything outside of the realm of rock and heavy metal, I'm kind of like, you could be naming off artists and they're kind of like, oh, they're such an iconic like country music star. And I'm like, I have never heard of them or heard any of their music. It's not my thing. But I do know some things about like I guess more old school rap and hip hop. I know some of the artists, and I think I've listened to a little bit more of like that era of rap and hip hop, which to me is a bit more. Like, it's still not necessarily my thing, but it's more like I can listen to that more, and I'm kind of like, okay, I can at least appreciate it and see why people, like some of those artists and all that.
Yeah. But now the division is more between the East Coast and the South.
Really?
The South was The South's been on the rise, man. That's if you've ever been on the radio and heard Future.
I have not.
Well, there's a lot of people. Everything on the radio right now
Mm-hmm.
is either Southern hip hop or West Coast hip hop. So, and the only people that are really keeping the West Coast alive
Mm-hmm.
right now are TDE, which is a label which includes Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, Absol, and Isaiah Rashad, and J-Rock. Those people are keeping the West Coast alive, and then you have other smaller dudes keeping them alive, like Tyler, the Creator, who's kind of died down in popularity, but right now what's big is the South. So that's, you have your designers, you have your Futures, you have all those guys. Those guys are from the South. That's the sound. Even A$AP Rocky, who's from New York, he's doing that Southern sound. So that's what's popular right now. But back in the day, it was East Coast versus West Coast. And I always was, again, with the East Coast. Like, Mobb Deep was amazing. All those guys. A Tribe Called Quest is actually in the East Coast as well. And then you had a few Southern dudes like Scarface, but they weren't nearly as big.
Yeah.
And then on the West Coast, you had NWA.
I've heard of them.
A lot of people have, so that's good. They had their movie, the Straight Outta Compton movie. That was very popular. You had what else did you have from the West Coast? Let me think. No, De La Soul's East. I know you had NWA. Again, you had Snoop Dogg. You had the Dog Pound. All those guys were West Coast.
Cool. So I know outside of music, because we've had many discussions on movies. You're a bit of a movie buff, such as myself.
Yeah.
So I guess first off, like, what are some of your favorite comic book movies, and then, list off some of your favorite just movies in general.
Okay, comic book movies. I love the hell out of Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Civil War. The Dark Knight. What are some other really good comic book movies? Trying to pick the best ones here.
What'd you think of have you seen Logan yet?
No, I haven't seen Logan yet.
Oh,
I really
it's
want
so
to.
good.
But that reminds me, First Class.
Yes,
First Class was great.
In my opinion, First Class is, outside of Logan, is the best X-Men movie. Like, Days of Future Past is good, but that movie, I think, in my opinion, was just amazing. But also Matthew Vaughn is, again, he's one of those directors that can do no wrong. I love all of his movies.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn was amazing. Yeah. Kingsman, that's technically a comic book movie. I love the hell out of that movie.
Another
I don't know how many times I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the sequel, which comes out, I think, in the fall. So I think just here in a few months.
Ooh. I get more of Kingsman. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Kingsman was great. That's about those are my favorites. I'm gonna leave it there.
Cool. So, what are some of your favorite non-comic book movies?
Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, who doesn't love Godfather?
Yeah, Scorsese and I love those mob movies.
Yeah, Back to the Future. I love the hell out of Back to the Future. E.T. Yeah, those are some of my favorites. Oh, I really love the hell out of Whiplash, and I really liked which one am I thinking of? La La Land.
Yes, La La Land was a surprise for me because, some of the Oscar-type movies are kind of hit or miss for me, where they're really good, but they're not my thing. But I went and saw La La Land because some of my friends saw it and were like, "Oh, it's so good, it's amazing!" And obviously all the Oscar buzz and just great reviews. And I was like, well, I might enjoy it, but I don't know how much I'll like it. And then after I left the theater, I was like, oh my god, I get it. I know why people love this movie so much. So yeah, I left the theater and I was pleasantly surprised, and I was just kind of like, yes, this movie's so good. And I'm not a big musical person. As much as I love music, musicals, not so much. But that movie was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love Emma Stone?
I'm also into jazz, so that movie was extra special for me.
Yeah.
Like the scene where where they're at the jazz club, and the guys are the 4 dudes are playing some jazz music.
Yeah.
And he's explaining everything. This is when they're fighting for control of the song. Look at them. That was one of my favorite scenes. But yes. Oh, this Oscar season was awesome. Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh my god.
Great.
Phenomenal movie.
Oh my god. The action was so brutal. They had crazy scenes when one of the Japanese soldiers, he pops a grenade, right? Mm-hmm. And then he runs into the guy and puts the grenade on his chest and hugs him, and the other guy, and then the American soldier just hugs him back and they blow up. That was insane. All the fight scenes were crazy.
Oh yeah, amazing choreography.
Yeah, that was great. Moonlight was pretty good.
Haven't seen Moonlight yet.
Yeah. That was actually I live in Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, yesterday I was actually in Liberty City. Should I have been in Liberty City? Hell no. That is one of the worst hoods. That is the worst hood in Miami.
Oh, wow.
And I was there by accident. I went to Miami Beach yesterday for a party.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to go get Wendy's. So we crossed the bridge. Boom, we were in Liberty City. We forgot. So we're in Liberty City, and we're just eating Wendy's. And then and I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, we're in Liberty City. But anyway, that movie is filmed and set in Liberty City. And it's about this black dude who's gay, and he has to deal with this for his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
It was an emotional movie, but I don't know, it just didn't hit me as hard as Hacksaw Ridge or La La Land.
Again, I can't attest to that just because I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, Hacksaw Ridge and La La Land were so good. So good, people. Again, I'm also a big movie person, so please check out some of these movies we're recommending, the comics, and, also, I guess, TV shows. What are some of your favorite comic book TV shows before we start wrapping this up?
Comic book TV shows? Daredevil.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was great. Jessica Jones. I love Luke Cage. Everybody thought Luke Cage wasn't as good as the rest.
Mm.
I did. I don't know what it was because of the constant hip-hop references. Every title of every single episode was a title to a Gangstar song.
Yeah. I really liked the first half, and even though I'm not big into hip-hop, I think the music really fit, and I also like the jazz that they had in Luke Cage as well. Because that's one thing that I think is missing from some of the TV shows and movies with Marvel is there's not a good, or at least a very noticeable, iconic score, whereas Luke Cage, I think they fully embraced, the music was almost a character itself in the show. And again, me being the big music person, even if it's not my type of music, I do like when people implement it really well, and again, it felt like its own character, and I was just kind of like, okay, this is really well done.
That's because they got the right people to do the music. They got Shy from A Tribe Called Quest.
I think I've actually heard that band.
Yeah. Okay, so A Tribe Called Quest is 3 people. You have Q-Tip, 5 Dog, and Shy.
Mm-hmm.
Shy and Q-Tip work on the production, and then Q-Tip and Fife rap on the tracks. So they got Shy to do the music for the show. So all the jazz music was all him, because he plays the instruments, and then him and Q-Tip would help put it together to make a beat. So they got Shy for all the jazz music, and then they had Method Man to pick out the songs that they were gonna do. Just the songs that were already pre-recorded and actual songs. They got Method Man to pick out. So one of my favorite parts is that fight, one of the first fight scenes, and then you see him put his earbuds in, and then it starts playing Bring the Ruckus from Wu-Tang. Oh, that was amazing. And I had just started listening to the album like a few weeks before the show came out. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I did really like all those scenes where he's just like slapping people around, throwing them around like rag dolls, because it's, they're trying to shoot him and punch him. It's just kind of like, no, I'm just going to pick you up and throw you. Go to timeout.
The only thing I really didn't like about that show was Diamondback. That's it.
Yeah, like I would have loved if they had kept Cottonmouth, but also Mahershala Ali, the actor, is just he's a phenomenal actor, and I was kind of hoping that like he would stay in throughout the entire series. I guess a little bit of a spoiler. Not going to go into reasons why, but and I think that's one reason why I like the first half so much, is he was such a compelling character. And then they kind of switched over to Diamondback as the main villain, and he just, I don't know, he just felt kind of too, might sound kind of weird, too comic booky, where he was kind of like, I'm the bad guy because the script determines I should be the bad guy, and I'm like,
It wasn't that it was just comic booky, it's that no one else in this show is comic booky but
yeah,
that's what made it bad.
Yeah, like it just felt out of place, because again, everything else just was very grounded. And then he just kind of comes out of nowhere, and he's kind of like, I'm the bad guy. I've got a power suit, and I'm just as strong as Luke Cage. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. What I think they should have done is, if they were going to kill off Cottonmouth like they did, Mariah should have taken control of everything, which they were leading that up. They're like, oh, Mariah's going to be the big bad for the rest of the season? Nope, we're going to get this random character that we have no kinds of character development for yet.
Yeah, and
then we're going to develop his character as we go along.
And granted, they did hint at Diamondback throughout the entire series, but I think it would have been better if, like, maybe we saw him at the very end and they set him up to be the big bad for Season 2.
Yes, I was about to say, if they were setting him up for Season 2 and made him less comic booky, because I don't think his storyline is bad. They could have stretched that out and gotten an actor to play him more, grounded, and he would have been a great villain. It was just the fact that he was super comic booky, and he was kind of shoehorned in there.
Yeah, I agree. So just before we start wrapping this up, anything you want to like promote, like blogs or anything like that you're working on, or social media or anything like that?
Besides my own Comic Amino account, not really. Just go like all my posts or something. Give me some love.
Yeah, show Frank Castle some love.
Yeah. Other than that, I've been trying to get the Order of Stones to come up with Gamora. And then I've been working on some stuff with my super secret Infinity Watch. So you might be seeing some actual news from us.
Cool. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I imagine a lot of you are probably following him already because he's a curator. He's a really cool guy. But if for whatever reason you're not and you listen to this, go show some love to Frank Castle. And you can also follow me on Comics Amino at irishmanjake. You can also follow me on Twitter at irishmanjake, all one word. Hit me up with your thoughts on comics, movies, TV shows, music, whatever. You can also check out my own YouTube channel at Pasty Pale Productions, where me and my friends talk about movies, comics, TV shows. I do movie reviews. Just a little bit of everything, and like us on Facebook at Pasty Pale Productions, Twitter, you can follow us at Pasty Pale Pro. You can also check out my new podcast that started up recently called Shogun's Gateway to Anime, where we talk all things anime, because I'm also a big anime fan. But that pretty much wraps up this interview. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and leave your comments below on who else you want me to interview, or interview next, rather. Whether it be some of their curators, maybe I'll start interviewing some of the team leaders, for some of the groups and all that stuff. So just leave your feedback on other content you want us to provide for you, and so hopefully you all have enjoyed. And until next time, everyone, cheers.